Hi, I'm Rob, and today we're at the Globe in Alresford.
The Globe is a 15th century pub, and it's in an area of Alresford called the Soke. And we'll start our walk along this busy main road. We're walking along the Great Weir. The Great Weir was built in 1189 by the Bishop of Winchester, Godfrey de Lucy, and it was to block the River Arle and create a pond for the Bishop's Palace at Bishop Sutton, because the bishops like a plate of fish, and that is what is today known as Alresford Pond. It's basically the Bishop's fish pond. There are some stories about it being the start of a navigation, a canal, but well, you can take that with a pinch of salt really. And at the junction we're turning right. So this is Alresford Park to our left, and we carry straight on. Now it's interesting that in the Second World War a B-17 bomber named Lady Luck almost destroyed Alresford, but the captain was very brave, a chap called Cogswell I think, in 1943, as it was aflame and crashing. He piloted it out over the pond and it crashed out on the edges of the pond, and he managed to bail out, so very brave man. And to our right, that's the first glimpse of the major industry in the town, which is watercress. The other industries that there were wool and leather. A brilliant service, the Royal Mail. No matter where your letterbox is, they'll put post in it. When you come to the bend, just past Drayton Farm, which is a watercress farm, and on the right there's a footpath across the fields. I'm hoping it's not going to be muddy. It's been dry for a while and I've worn my my hiking trainers, so we'll see if I live to regret that. A little way into the field, and it's not muddy, it's lovely and sort of dry underfoot, but it's very wet, the grass. It's a very misty morning, so I wish I had worn my boots. This is probably the only bit you need boots on this walk, I hope. There we are, we emerge out onto a lane and we're going to turn left. Don't carry straight on, there is a footpath there. There's the end of the watercress beds. As I say, at this lane we turn left, and not a minute too soon. I have got very soggy toes now. Look at that, why didn't I put my boots on? So the leaves are virtually gone off the trees now. Those leaves have all come off in virtually a week this year. Anyway, we'll get to the road again. We're going to turn right and then left at the edge of the wood. Just before the bend, through the arched entrance into the woodland there. So at this point, don't turn left, that's private land. Turn right through the barrier and turn left onto the lane. Now, judging by the yews that flank it, this is a fairly ancient lane, I think. Well, that's a nice avenue of trees, possibly lime. This is how you tell this is probably part of the Alresford Park estate. But we carry on along the misty lane. So we're just going to walk through Upton Park Farm. There's a lot of road walking on this walk, but don't worry, because most of it, apart from the very first bit going over the Great Weir, is nice empty lanes like this, so it's good underfoot and not too much traffic. So that avenue of possibly lime trees, it was for a big house, but it's Upton Park, it's not Alresford Park. And very nice it looks too, from what you can see over the wall. And that's a nice little farmyard. Could just do with a pond really on that grass bit there and a few ducks. Maybe this was a milking shed in days gone by. There are little clues. As you can see here, there's a door and a bit of a step. And they used to stand milk churns on there ready to be collected by the dairy. Now ignore the finger posts and the turning to the right, because we're not following the ox drove, we're continuing down the lane following the estate wall of Upton Park. And this large Georgian building we're approaching on the bend is Old Alresford House. This is Old Alresford House, very very close to the road. And new naval types, Royal Naval types, you might think it looks familiar because it looks like a lot of the buildings in the historic dockyard in Portsmouth. So, there's a reason for this. It's because it was built for Admiral Lord Rodney, who you Royal Naval types will be familiar with for his escapades against the French. I think it was in the Caribbean. Anyway, it's 18th century and it's grade 2 listed. The reason it's so close to the road is because he didn't actually purchase the park that he's now got, that runs right down to the other road we were walking on, until after he built the house. This is the lovely St Mary's Church in Old Alresford. And this is the little part of the graveyard behind the church where Admiral Lord Rodney is buried along with his family. What a lovely gravestone with the sundial on the top. Anyway, church is open, let's have a look inside. Oh, this is a lovely little traditional church with the wooden pews. Oh, another mysterious door. Now this I didn't know until I came into the church. Old Alresford is the birthplace of the Mothers' Union. A lady called Mary Summer, who was the wife of Bishop of Winchester. That's a lovely little diversion into the church, overlooking some lovely countryside, a bit spoilt by the mist, it would look much nicer on a blue sky day. Anyway, oh, there's someone else that will deliver anywhere in the country, Tesco's. We're going to go up the Lich Gate and go down the road into Old Alresford. Choices: footpath, which goes up on the bank, or fairly busy road. We've got to come off this road very very shortly, so I'm going to take the road. I'll let you know if the footpath is good to use in a bit. Yes, the footpath would have been the best and safest way. It's not that busy this road, but some blind bends. Anyway, come off the footpath and head down this little one-way lane. So as you can see, the Arle is a lovely chalk stream which actually becomes the River Itchen eventually. And we continue round to the left past the Watercress beds. And this is now Manor Farm Watercress Company. And they were a customer of mine years ago. I think they were Watercress then. And we continue to the left. So you come to a big barn called Threshing Barn. And then there's Coach House on the right. And the old farmhouse on the left. And we take that track straight ahead of us. Good to see, lots of tree planting going on there. Yeah, more watercress. Now the reason Alresford is the watercress capital, probably of the world, certainly of the UK, is because of its situation. It's where the chalk downs meet with the clays, and that allows springs to form and bubble up, and watercress needs a flow of fresh water continually to successfully grow, and of course the springs do that. Used to grow wild in the ditches, and was only eaten really by locals until the arrival of the railway, which I'll speak more about later, and then it was shipped all over the place, London primarily and Bristol. What a lovely extension on that house. And at the end of the track we are going to turn left into a lane. Literally acres and acres of watercress, and in the distance I hear gunfire, but if you've got very sharp eyes you'll see someone that's a very sensible pheasant. And there's a close-up of the plant itself. It's got a lovely peppery taste. I have it in my sandwiches all the time. We soon come off the lane and we're going to turn right towards the Fulling Mill. I'll tell you more when we get there. And this is absolutely beautiful. This again is the River Arle, variously known from this point onwards as the Arle or the Itchen, and this is the Fulling Mill. Now what is a fulling mill? Well, a fulling mill uses the power of the water to level out and thicken cloth. So it's used in the cloth making industry. I'm not quite sure how it's done, but it involves clay pots, a good strong stream of water, which I'm sure there's plenty of around here. So we leave the mill behind, we turn right for a short distance to walk alongside the river. That explains it a lot better than I did. It's washed, cleaned and beaten and thickened. Oh golly, Duck City. Now there's a moorhen there. Now moorhens look very much like coots, but the way you tell the difference is a coot has a white flash above its beak and a moorhen has a red flash. So if you remember Little Red Hen, moorhen, that's how you remember it. Aha! Here's the reason for so many ducks. Amy's duck food table. There you go, and you can buy duck food to feed the ducks. Do be honest and put some money in if you're going to get a bag, because it's going to charity by the looks of this. Anyway. They all know that it's there. Sorry lads, haven't got any. And so after oh too short a little trip along the river, it brings you out into a road, I think it's called the Dean in New Alresford. Riverside cottages. And we walk the full length of this road to bring us back into New Alresford. So we're at the top of the Dean now, and we're going to cross straight over the road where the zebra crossing is. And do take the time to have a look round Alresford. A lot of shops and things that we won't see to the left here, because it's not on the route of the walk, so make sure we have a good explore. As you can see, some lovely shops running up the hill. Alresford, or New Alresford, was one of the Bishop of Winchester's 6 new towns, and 3 of them are in Hampshire, 2 in Wiltshire and 1 on the Isle of Wight. And the ones in Wiltshire were Hindon and Downton, the Isle of Wight were Newtown, and the ones in Hampshire were Newtown, Overton and New Alresford. And having set up this town, lovely medieval town, it burnt down twice, and so there's not a lot of that left now. It's mainly Georgian now, but it has been home to the famous cricket commentator John Arle, who had a great voice for cricket commentary, Russell Howard the comedian, and the ubiquitous Colin Firth, who seems to have lived everywhere in Hampshire. I'm not convinced he's not a Romany gypsy at heart. Anyway, we're going to go straight on across Jacqueline's Lane. And there's Perrin's School, as we continue to walk up towards the railway. Another famous resident of Alresford was Derek Warwick, the racing driver. And I knew all about Derek Warwick from a very young age, back in the mid-1970s, because I had a great Saturday morning job on a bread van with his Uncle Norman. And Norman used to bore me to tears with tales of his nephew that was doing brilliant at go-karting. Little was I to know he was going to turn into a Formula 1 hero. And just by the railway bridge side, we're going to turn left on a little public footpath. And at this point we're going to turn right, and this will take us down to the station. Hello, puss. Puss, puss. So a left turn into the railway station car park. And here we are at Alresford Station. It's home of the Watercress line. It's a heritage railway that took over the tracks from British Rail. Now, the Alton to Winchester line opened in 1865. And it went right through to 1973, and it avoided Dr. Beeching's axe. It was bought in 1975, so that's 2 years after it closed down, and reopened in 1977 as a heritage railway. I remember a lot of fundraising at the time for that. And now it carries lots of passengers over its 10-mile track to Alton. No longer goes to Winchester, unfortunately. And at this time of year, as you can hear from the music, they do a Christmas special, and it's still light, so it's not looking brilliant, but the trains are all lit up with fairy lights, and I know last year they were computer controlled, and it was a real spectacle. Well, I've wandered onto the platform. I'm looking for somebody to ask about the public toilets, actually, not because I'm desperate. There is a reason, and I'll let you know whether we find them or not. So they're busy getting ready for Christmas here, and I've actually managed to find someone, and they've told me where the public toilets are. Now don't start worrying. I'll let you know into the secret shortly. They're just up there. Oh, there's a lovely little cafe next to the station mill. Here we are. Here's the public convenience. And I want you to come with me because I've got something to show you. Haha, I knew what some of you would be thinking, but no. The Portland Spy Ring used this public toilet to deposit and collect secret documents that they'd stolen for the Russians. Name of the chap was Harry Horton, and in 1961 he was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. Now, where would you hide documents in here? I wonder. Up there? Or possibly in the toilet cistern in a waterproof bag? Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to leave here before I get arrested. So we're going to leave the public conveniences behind, thank goodness, and take this path up to St John's Church. So this is St John's Church, and there's been a church on this site since the Domesday Book, but this one was actually built in 1851 and has served New Alresford since then. Lots and lots of yew trees in the churchyard though. And as you know, yew trees, they grow very old into the thousands of years, revered by Christians for death and resurrection because their boughs can dip down to the ground and a new yew tree sprout from the old. And she's open, so we'll take a look. A very nice Victorian church. No nice wooden pews, but the wooden chairs are tasteful. And that's a nice touch along the side of all the standards of the British Legion. And it's a tank regiment or something there. So we leave the church behind to pop out into the avenue and Broad Street and go back to the pub. Just for my American viewers, this was the headquarters of the 47th Infantry Regiment, 9th Division of the United States Army, 1943 to D-Day. And that was the old fire station, now a picture framing place. That was a lovely 5-mile walk. Saw the watercress beds, lovely scenery, nice Georgian town, and a lovely 15th century pub, which I'm going to go and enjoy a coffee in now. So if you like the walk, then please like and subscribe, and maybe I'll see you on the next one. So a lovely cosy low beam pub inside. Super log fire. And a B-17 bomber from an anti-piece. And lovely garden overlooking Petersfield. Right, now back to enjoy my coffee. So, suitably refreshed from the pub, just a little add-on. If you head down Mill Hill, which is at the end of the Broadway, you can walk along the river, back out to Fulling Mill, and then back round, so you can do a town walk with a little bit of river. Thought that might be useful for those of you who like the shorter walks. So straight on is the town mill, and a little bit further on Arle Mill, but we're turning left down Ladywell Lane. And a lovely little picnic spot. Sort of little war memorial type park. So then here we are back at Fulling Mill. As I said, just follow the walk as the original walk went up the Dean and around the town. But you can do that bit separately. You can do the Dean around the town, back down the river to the Dean again. So I think that's something to contemplate. Can't work out how many miles that is. It's not many. I should think it's less than 2, and it's all good for buggy walking as well. Anyway, that was supposed to be the end of the video a long time ago, so I'll bid you farewell. Please, if you like this extended bit of video and the noise of that horrible helicopter up there, then please like and subscribe.